We installed this Hornbill Smart Lock and picture handle on this door last week. We've had a chance to play with it. Now we're going to tell you what we think. I'm Robert, you're watching Locksmith Recommended. First of all, the installation was a breeze. Everything went off without a hitch. All the parts that had to be in a specific orientation, like up, were labeled, so it was very easy to do. Now the picture handle itself, you have to drill a hole in order to secure the bottom of that handle. This came with a really nice template to do it, and even if you messed it up and got that hole a little too high or a little too low, that picture handle had an adjustable nut in it so that you could still install that without having to drill another hole in the door. So that was a great feature to have. Now let's focus a little bit on the smart lock itself. The Hornbill Smart Lock will support up to 300 users, more than you're ever going to need. One of the things I really like about it is you can use it as basically an electronic lock or as a smart lock for off-site. Its base package comes with Bluetooth, so you install the app and you can add users, you can monitor access, you can see your access log for the lock, all from your app, so long as you're within Bluetooth range, which is about 2 meters. Now, if you want all that same support and all that same capability, you can add a Wi-Fi bridge to the lock, which still keeps it under $100 at today's prices. And you could do everything that you were doing with Bluetooth off-site at another location, so long as you have a cell phone connection. There are 3 ways to enter this lock. You can enter a PIN code. They have an RFID card you can put up to the lock to access the lock. Or if you've got the Wi-Fi bridge, you can even open and close the door remotely from off-site to let somebody into the house. The PIN code options give you permanent PIN codes that are valid at all times. You also have scheduled PIN codes that you can set up to only be valid during certain parts of the day. So maybe you have a dog walker or something coming to the house and they only need to have an active PIN code within a certain time window. Or you could do one-time use PIN codes. Now that's a feature you don't even get in locks that cost 3 times as much as this. That PIN code activates once and then it's gone from the system and can't be used again. Let's take a look at how this lock works. The first thing to do is put your back of your hand to your lock. That's going to light it up and activate the lock to wake it up so that you can use it. And then you enter your PIN code and the pound symbol. And now the door is unlocked. Let me lock that back up again real quick. To lock it, you just press and hold the pound. And now the door is locked. Now let me show you how the RFID card works. The RFID card is great because it's really quick. If your hands are full, using that RFID card gets you in very quickly. One of the cool features about this lock is the ability to hide your code. So if somebody's watching over your shoulder and you're afraid they're going to see what code you're putting in, you could tuck that code in anywhere into a series of numbers and hide it so that you punch so many numbers they can't possibly determine what the actual code is. What are some of the things we like in the app? First of all, the app will tell you whether or not the door is locked. In order to do that, you have to hit a little icon in the upper right-hand corner of the app. It'll ping the lock and let you know if the door is locked or unlocked so that if you want to change that, you can. The app also tells you what the battery level is inside the lock. And if you have notifications turned on, it'll ping you when your batteries are getting low to remind you to change them. And of course, the app has that audit trail, which will let you know who opened your door and when. So if there's ever any problems or questions, you can go back and look at your lock and find out who gained access to your property. At this price point, this lock really is quite unbelievable. Less than $100 gives you everything you could possibly want in a very affordable package. There are a couple things you need to be aware of if you buy this lock. The cylinder is actually upside down. As you use your key, dust and everything could fall into the upper pins, and in a couple years that can make the door hard to open with your override key. The second thing about that cylinder that's a little interesting is it does not have standard pin spacing. So in the United States, we have a standard pin spacing for our cylinders so that all of our keyways of a certain manufacturer will work. This one doesn't adhere to that. If you look at the keys, they're both 5-pin keys, but this key is much shorter than a standard key. What does that mean for you? Well, it means if you want to make that lock work off the key that already controls your house, you're not going to be able to do it. Or if you want that key to work all the other locks in your house, you're not going to be able to do it. So you're always going to have an extra key which is the emergency override key for that lock. That may or may not be a big deal for you. This is a budget lock. It is about grade 3 level. So it's the same level you're going to get at a big box store when you're looking at an affordable lock. No better, no worse, but you need to be aware of that. The other thing to know about the lock itself is it is a non-standard finish. So we got this as a bright silver finish, but it doesn't quite match the finishes that we have in the United States. So it's not going to match every door of your house. Not a big deal if it's on its own, but it could be a big deal if you're trying to color coordinate everything. Overall, at this price point, a full-blown Wi-Fi smart lock that you can access from anywhere is a great buy. Thanks for watching. Locksmith recommended.